Welcome to the Fermented Homestead. If you're new here, my name's Anna, and on this channel, I'm sharing our journey of learning how to turn our home into a homestead. Today, I want to make some garlic powder, and I thought I would bring you along and show you what I'm doing. Basically, I just went to Costco. I picked up this big bag of already peeled and ready to go garlic, and we're just going to go ahead and just turn it into powder. It's going to take a couple of days, and I'm just going to bring you along and show you all the different steps. I have tried to make this before and didn't go super well. So it basically just turned into this giant clump inside of the jar. So I kind of did a little bit of research, and I've been watching some videos and reading some articles and stuff like that and trying to figure out how to do it better. This is what I've come up with, and I wanted to share it with you. So basically what we're gonna do, we have the food processor. What I did before was I just took the whole cloves and I dehydrated them. Oh my gosh, it took so long. It wasn't even funny, and it never even got fully dehydrated, like days on the dehydrator. Finally, I came along and cut each of them in half, and then by that point, the outsides were like burnt crispy, and the insides were still, it was a mess. So, two different ways that you can do it that I've seen be successful is using the food processor to chop them up into tiny little pieces, or you slice them up. And when you slice them up, you kind of spread them out evenly on the tray. I don't want to take the time to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dump it into the food processor. I'll probably do two different batches here. I don't have a clue how many trays I'm going to need, but I'm going to spread them out as best as I can. So we're just going to put it in here, turn it on, and run it. So that should be just about right. I'm not looking to make it into any kind of a puree or anything like that. Let me show you the pieces that we have here. You know, they're just kind of like a very large minced garlic, and that's all I'm aiming for. When this is all said and done, we're going to go through and we're going to run it through the coffee grinder, so this shouldn't be too much of an issue. So all I'm going to do, I have the jelly rolls here, and this is going to be the quickest and easiest part of the whole process from what I gather. The most time-consuming part of all of this was going to grab my jelly rolls and realizing I forgot to take the pumpkin off of it months ago, and it's just been sitting there. So it took a while to actually clean everything up, get it all, obviously thrown away into the compost bin, and get everything cleaned up. That was about the most time-consuming part. I felt pretty dumb about that one because I burnt it and I knew I couldn't use it, and so I just gotten frustrated, and I think I must have just left it on there and forgotten all about it. Didn't mold, didn't anything, but there it was. Okay, so I'm gonna put it on here like not anything super careful. Just spreading it out, making sure there's plenty of room because I have plenty of dehydrator sheets. I don't need to worry about it. And my goal is to be finished with this by tomorrow evening. Right now it's pretty late. It's 10:22 at night here. And I just want to do this project really quick and share it with all of you. So I'm hoping that this will be done by tomorrow evening, but we'll see. And if you have your own harvest of garlic, you can absolutely use it. I just don't. And I can't even fathom trying to peel all of this garlic. Certainly in one sitting, my fingers would just be completely raw because I've done it before. I did it for the fermented garlic. I did it for something. I think it was fermented garlic. And it was just not a pleasant experience. And basically I'm stopping it at the point that it stops moving rapidly and folding in on itself a lot. that makes any sense. And then at the bottom, it's going to start to kind of get stagnant, and it's not going to move as much, and the stuff at the bottom is going to turn to paste. So once it stops, like you'll kind of notice a change in the movement inside of the bowl. If you have a see-through one, you'll notice the change in it, and that's kind of when I stop. You don't have to stop then. That's just what I'm choosing to do, just so you know. And a lot of people suggest dehydrating this outside. I don't find I have much of an issue with it, but I'm not bothered at all by the smell of garlic. Even on garlic breath, I don't care, and my husband doesn't seem to care either. He says he doesn't care. Shouldn't say that. He doesn't care. But, so yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and dehydrate it in the house. And another thing that you can also do that I've seen is that you can cut out little sheets of parchment paper and put it on top of here. That will help with the sticking. I'm just gonna go ahead and risk it. I mean, this is a Nesco dehydrator, and these jelly rolls sheets are just fantastic. I don't have any issues with sticking, and I'm sure it'll stick a little bit, but it'll peel off relatively easily. Certainly, it would take me more time to cut out all of these sheets of parchment paper than it would to try and peel it off of there. So I don't find the trade-off in my time or effort to be worth making the parchment sheet papers. But if you like to, have at it. For me, if you've kind of watched me for any length of time, I have very limited amounts of time that I can do things. So I tend to do things in large volume, and I try and find the most efficient way of doing things to make the best use of my limited time that I do have. And so if it's not worth actually taking the time to cut out the parchment sheets, I'm not gonna do it. If it's worth it, I'll do it. And probably after this, well actually no, because the last time that I did I guess after this we'll find out, and I'll let you know if it's worth actually taking the time to do it. In the past though, even with very, very sticky things, people are like, you have to do the parchment sheets, and I haven't done them, and I didn't find it to be worth the extra time, so. But there's always that one time that you just do wrong. Not that one time, but there's lots of times that I'm wrong. One of those times, how about that? Okay. So that right there is 3 pounds of garlic. So all I'm gonna do with this is I'm gonna put it on the dehydrator at 135 degrees. I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna check on it in the morning. If they're dry, I'm gonna stop the dehydrator and process it further in the morning. And if it's not dry yet, I'm gonna shift all of the trays around, you know, I'll move the bottom to the top and so forth to get it to dehydrate more evenly. And then after work, we will process these. So I'll bring you back and you'll find out how long it took. It's the next day here, and the garlic dehydrated for probably about 16 hours. And I went ahead this morning and I turned them all around. I put the bottom on the top on the bottom. I just kind of rotated each one completely upside down and just flipped them all upside down. Well, not flipped them, but you get what I'm saying. And one thing that I figured out is that definitely doing the parchment paper on these is a total waste of time because these just come right off. So all I'm doing is I'm just gonna go ahead and get these into this little dish here so that we can further process these. And with this, you just want to make sure that you're getting them completely dry. You don't want to have even the slightest hint of moisture with these, or I've found that it will just turn into a solid brick of garlic. Like after a certain amount of time, like nothing will break that brick. too bad. This is like granola. This would be so sad, granola. It's powerful. Get these out of the way. So all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take the garlic, my spice grinder, or coffee grinder, whichever. And just grind it up. And just repeat that. Grind it up however finely you like it. I like it pretty fine. So that's all there is to making the garlic. What I'm going to do with this is I'm going to go ahead and put a couple of the little the silica packs inside of there and seal it off with a mason jar, and that will go ahead and keep it nice and dry for as long as I need to keep it in storage. And this stuff is dried really, really well. One way that you can tell if you didn't dehydrate it well enough is it's not going to be really crunchy and just dry feeling or sounding. And then also when you're grinding it, it won't process down to a powder. It will just stay large chunks, and that's one indication that you have that it's not dehydrated enough. And you can also dehydrate it further. If you get it to this point, you're like, I just don't think it's quite dry enough. I want to get it even drier just to make sure it doesn't turn into a brick in storage. You can totally just dump this powder onto the same trays that you used and put it back in the dehydrator. Probably want to do it at a lower heat, maybe a lower fan if that's an option, just to keep the powder from circulating throughout. And I've totally done that before with different powders. I think I did it with dehydrated pumpkin powder, and that worked out very, very well. There's a couple of times when I was doing batches that it just didn't dehydrate enough, and I threw it back in the dehydrator as a powder, and it worked out just fine. So that's really all there is to making garlic powder. And so if you enjoyed this, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, and we'll see you next time for another video in the kitchen or around the homestead. Thanks for watching. Bye.